good evening to you. Today I'm going to walk you through my Capstone project for machine learning engineer with Microsoft Azure, a course that I'm pursuing at Udacity. The Capstone project basically involves creating a model using AutoML and Hyperdrive. I then deploy the best model that I get as part of the return of both the experiments and then deploy it as an Azure web service. I'm also going to show you a small Python script, that a small Python snip that I have written to consume that particular Azure web service and return what my model predicts. So I talked about the project and the course details. Now I'm going to talk about the data set. The data set is basically the heart failure data set, which is located which is from UCI. It has 13 different features, out of which the death event is basically our predictive feature, which we want to predict. And so I create a compute on the fly, which is Atul TRDGI, and the standard D2V2, right? Once I get my particular compute cluster, I try to read the dataset, which is basically located at my repo, which you can look into it, which I will attach to the video. Once I register it as an Azure dataset, I am able to read it into my AutoML settings and AutoML config. The settings is basically talking about the different parameters that I want to provide to my AutoML experiment. I want to make sure that my AutoML experiment times out after 60 minutes so that it does not keep on running for forever. The concurrent iterations that I want to try is 5, and the n-cross validation that I want to try is 5. The primary metric that I want to test is basically accuracy. As soon as I submit the run, I get my best model. After some time, I get my best model. So the best model is basically your stack ensemble, which gives somewhere around 88% of accuracy, right? I get my run details through that, right? And it shows the same thing, that stack ensemble is my greatest one, which is basically around 88, which basically surpasses voting ensemble, which I was expecting it to be. I get my best model. I look into my best model features, configurations, the AUC micro, recall micro, balanced accuracy, F1 score, and all these things. These are basically nitty-gritty metrics which we can dive into and figure out how can we best improve our model. The best model that I get, I print them out, and then I am trying to create a confusion matrix to make sure that the model that is there is pretty good. Once I get my model, I do model deployment. I deploy it as a Azure web service. Before deploying it, I just make sure that the model file, score file, and the environment that I have used to train my model using AutoML config, I store them in a particular inference folder. Then I download the respective UI files as well. I register the model. In order to deploy, you need to make sure that you register the model in your workspace along with your description and the model path, which is basically my AutoML model, right? And then I create, so this is where we are saving the conda file, and then here we basically deploy the model as a service. Now service is the variable in which our model is deployed. So below you can see that I am using service.scoring URI on a respective dictionary, which is basically kind of my data set, which I used to basically find out whether these parameters pass in for my death event as a true or a false, and I get as a true. I print out the logs, and then I will delete the service. I have not run this yet. The similar experiment we need to do through the hyperdrive, where what we are doing is, for the data set, we have a train.py file, which is basically what my hyperdrive experiment is going to take into picture. So this is my training script, as you can see. And if I go to my training script, you can see the data that I am loading and creating it into a tabular data factory set, and I do a little bit of pre-processing, and then I clean data, right? And then I am using two different, as of now, I'm only using two hyperparameters, which is basically C and max iterations over to get my best model. So when I do my hyperdrive experiment, my best model that I get returned has an accuracy of 80%. So since the model that I create in AutoML run, I get better models, hence that is deployed, and we just save the model here. So let me show you the pipeline ends. So if I go to pipelines, I go to pipeline endpoints. Where did it go? Probably I need to refresh. I go to pipeline jobs. I go to jobs. This is my ML experiment. You can see the experiment is completed, took some time, and this is my heart failure hyperdrive experiment. Both of them are there. If I can go and find my web service, operation succeeded. It shows operation succeeded over here. Just, I think it is at endpoints. Sorry, I was looking. So here you can see this is my endpoint. I go to consume. I can see the different that the script that is written, and if I go to details, you can see it is healthy, succeeded. There is a REST endpoint. There is a Swagger UI, and the application inside is enabled as well. Right. So this was all about the Capstone. You can look into Mishra 5001 MLE with Azure. There's a folder with Capstone project. I will upload the README file as well over here. Thank you and have a nice day.